Welcome, I'll be reacting to Outlander Season 2, Episode 10. This is not a market substitute, please support the original.
This Highlander, who had run afoul of a Redcoat patrol, was only the latest one. The rebellion Jamie and I had labored so hard to prevent was upon us.
Gorgeous shot though. The snow falling, that green. Yeah, you need the weapon.
Well, General Murray insists we waste our time in dilly-dally.
I rushed the army here to ensure our possession of the high ground. And now you wish us to abandon such a strong defensive position and attack the enemy in force?
Indeed, I do, sir.
Though meadow is a fancy name for the bog that lies between us and the enemy.
Since when did a Scotsman shy away from a bit of mud, huh? Especially when there's an enemy waiting for him on the other side.
Since when does an Irish-born officer dismiss the dangers of boggy ground to an infantry attack?
Thank God, a sane voice at last.
Finally though, this general seems smart. Can we please just keep him in charge and listen to what he has to say? Because I love him so much already. He knows what he's doing.
Cavalry could prove useful to our needs, both to test the ground and to report on the enemy position.
Aye, a braw squad of dragoons could mean the difference between victory and defeat.
Let us not speak of defeat, or of cavalry we do not have. And as for the Lord General, may I remind him that he will be...
Can we put him in a bog?
I imply nothing, sir. I'm merely grateful that we are dependent upon the bravery of our warriors, who are not afraid to face shot or shell to pursue a glorious victory for our prince and for our king.
Mark me.
Oh no, not the mark me. I have not missed that.
General Cope wasn't expecting us. His troops fled.
And that won't happen again, sir.
Look at this coat that he has on. He's trying to go for a tartan, but he looks kind of like a lumberjack. And then he has the French going on. This is just too much. Look at this. Only he would wear that.
I am sure he has no more desire to shed English blood than I have. We are all brothers after all.
I will not allow it.
Then resign your commission and let the prince find himself a general with a firmer backbone.
You pompous dorag.
While you two exchange insults, what do I tell Clan MacDonald?
Tell your men to await further orders.
We actually have a competent general and they're not listening to him. What a mess.
I promised my father and I have promised God. Mock me. Your noble wife.
Mock me.
Be so kind to tell her the prince asks that British casualties be tended to before the Jacobite wounded. The British
Excuse me, what?
subjects also, and I will have them well cared for.
Mock me. Wow, are they never serious?
Yeah. Got a delicacy in your hand. Angus. See, you're getting on as well as our commanders. What is required is a reconnaissance of the marshland that sits between us and the British camp. Discover if the ground is solid enough for our army to cross. I'm of a mind it's the better part of valor to force the British to come to us.
Ah, they can turn the disadvantage to their advantage if they can trick the British into coming to them. Not sure exactly how to do that, but I like it. It has promise as a plan.
Ride out to take a measure of the marshland. Someone has to risk the doing.
You want glory? There you go. All right, if I was the commander in this situation, what I would do, wait for nightfall when it's harder to see. Keep a few watchfires going, leave just enough people to make it look like the camp is still there. And then under cover of night, with the rest of the army, who is familiar with Scottish ground, go around and flank them, preferably in a pincer move. Now there's a lot that could go wrong, but that's what I would do. See, you even have trees to give you a little bit of cover. Really, Diggle? Really? Are you doing come at me, bro? Nu eus gerima gadrinken to usi, guman to gude? Target practice time.
That's Dougal Mackenzie, personal friend of mine. You are?
I'm your prince, Charles Edward Stuart.
Are you really? Did you hear that? I'm talking to the prince.
They are not very good shots, are they? Fortunately. Good thing Richard is not here. How'd they not hit him yet? Mock me? That was well done.
Mark me, if I had 100 men like you,
Sorry.
this war would be over tomorrow.
We can't get to the British. They can't get to us.
We should disengage from the enemy under cover of darkness and return to Edinburgh.
And wait for the British to lay siege to the city.
You're a lucky bastard. Did you get that looked at?
It is up to us to tend to the wounded, and I have no doubt that together we will be able to do it.
They don't look very enthusiastic.
It will also help replace any fluids lost and prevent shock.
Fergus, can you?
And our friend Fergus here, he will be responsible for keeping the kettle fires burning.
Woman's work.
I'm sorry. Well, what was that?
Nothing, milady.
You see, I've lived in these parts all my life. My father owns the land, so I ken the grounds where the armories are like the back of my hand.
Oh, good.
There's a way down from the ridge where the Highland troops are. A small hidden trail that will lead them past the bog at the bottom to catch the English unawares.
Oh, is he gonna be their Smeagol and lead them through the dead marshes?
This way. Don't follow the lights.
As I told Mrs. Fraser, it's a narrow, winding path. Hard to spot in daylight and hopeless to find in the dark. Unless you ken where to look.
And you do.
Could they take a couple people through first, just to test it?
Off we go, gentlemen.
It would ease me greatly to know that you'll watch over Bess and the croft. And I'll do the same for you, if it proves necessary. What's mine is yours, and yours mine.
You can have my sword. It's mine. Yours.
You're gonna put that whetstone down. You've been grinding that blade to a needle. May as well get it off your
I want a whetstone. Belgian whetstone is the Ardennes codicil. Since 1625. Ooh, that's expensive. Belgian blue whetstone. There's also a stone from the Arkansas mountains, so it has to have an abrasive of some kind. The best stones come from Japan, and they're used with water. Oh, it creates the sharpening particles when you add water, which is why they're sometimes called water stones. There are whetstone mines. Quilky stone is baked hardened shale from the Sundrin mine, used as a whetstone. Water of Ayr, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Ayr Tamashanter stone. Can you imagine being a miner and your job is to just get whetstones? Wow. Now I want to tour one of these mines.
2,000 strong army. My death, your death alone would be meaningless. 500. 1,000 would have to be slain before our deaths take on any meaning.
Make sure you get some sleep, Sassenach.
I can sneak into the very tent of General Cope. I will steal his sword. A general cannot fight without his sword.
Oh.
I don't doubt your capabilities, laddie.
Who will look after the women?
The same person who keeps the fires lit? I don't know.
And what of Our Lady, Broch Turach, huh?
He's totally going to sneak off. I just hope that they're not going to pull a Henry V and Fergus dies, because that was rough in that play.
Must I remind you, mistress, at this time tomorrow, I could be lying in a field bleeding to death. I would hate for my last thought to be how you denied me my final request.
You are shameless.
Mark Me is actually going. Mildly impressed by that. Where's Fergus? Yeah.
Have any of you seen Fergus?
Oh, he's totally with those guys. Mm-hmm.
This rebellion would never survive your death. Besides, regaining the throne would never mean as much to King James if the son that made it possible wasn't there to share the moment with him.
Calm before the storm.
I know what you're all feeling. The fear, the self-doubt. But our men are depending on us. And we will not let them down.
Her knowing to boil tools like that alone might save several people. Fergus, really? The mist is definitely helping them. The good thing is they're wearing two very different things. You're not going to accidentally confuse a red coat for a Scot. One of the problems they had in the Wars of the Roses was that you often got people basically dressed the same. And even the banners, like you'd have a sun rising, fighting a sun setting, and no one knew whose side anyone was on, and half the time they killed the wrong person. It was a mess, so that's one advantage that this has. No confusion there about who your enemy is. Good, they're getting in close. That's their main advantage. He's gone.
I'm sorry.
Fergus, just please get out of the way. Imagine how terrifying it would be, though, to have these Scots coming out of the mist with their broadswords.
I'll be there in a second.
No!
Yes, ma'am.
I must save him, mistress. I'll no allow that fat wallbag to die on me.
She's strong, and if the wound doesn't fester, then... Let me see that head of yours.
Yeah.
Come on.
I have a feeling he's hiding how bad it is.
Any nausea?
No, I told you, I'm fine.
He's not.
Minutes.
If only we had cavalry. I could have pursued the enemy, captured General Cook, perhaps put an end to the rebellion this very morning.
Are you all right? I killed an English soldier, milady. I struck him. You aren't injured, are you? No.
Not physically. During the Welsh rebellions, from what I've read, the women would be the ones who came and did this job of finishing off the soldiers who were just lying there suffering. They did some other things too, but I won't get into it on this channel.
A war chief should know better. I tell you this in all candor. You cannot defeat the British Army. You've won a battle, but you will never win this war. You look done in.
No, it's been a lot.
I'm worried about his head.
My father will tell you.
Victory is ours!
Dougal!
Dougal.
What's this then? I say we put an end to this shite here.
You're killing these men, want to add to our victory.
Bastards, men!
Yes. Men, I wish for you to remove this gentleman from the muster roll immediately.
Promote him captain of the newly formed Highlander Dragoons. Give him 15.
Oh, so glad that worked.
I thank you, lad. Truly. Talk to me, man. He's my friend as well.
Angus? Yeah, I was worried about this. It's too late. I mean, I kind of saw it coming, but it's still tragic. I'm glad that the show didn't shy away from killing off some of the secondary characters. It would have been strange if everyone that we knew survived. I'm just glad that Fergus is okay because he should not have been in that battle. And honestly, he shouldn't have survived either. That was just sheer luck. It was fascinating seeing Claire putting together that field hospital and doing what she could with the materials that she had on hand, even though a lot of people didn't understand exactly what she was doing and why she was doing it. I think she did a good job of staying firm and inspirational for the other women. I would have liked a little bit longer of a battle, but if, as they said, it took about 15 minutes, then maybe we did get the real-time version. I think that they were just so surprised that the Scots made it through somehow that it completely threw them off. And it's not a victory that will be easy to replicate. They basically just got really lucky. And it proves again how where you're positioned for a battle is crucial. I am a little worried because they allowed the British Army to basically just retreat and they didn't pursue them. So the troops are simply going to reform somewhere else and reinforcements will come and they'll be back to square one. So I agree that having a cavalry, the dragoons, will make a big difference of being able to ride people down. I also liked that they included what Dougal was doing at the end, which is a big part of battles, at least in the Middle Ages. I'm not as familiar with that happening in the 18th century, but it was very common in the 14th and earlier. And it's a necessary thing that you don't often see in movies, but for many centuries it was common practice. So I thought this was quite a good episode. As I said, my one quarrel is that I wanted to see more of the combat, but what we did see was quite good.